Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all my friends on this Earthship today. Welcome. Let's talk about some alchemy, some spiritual alchemy. I'm Cindy Carter. I'm an intuitive, an artist, an energy healer, and a spirit consultant. Alchemy is, where we turn our everyday life into gold. No matter what's going on in your life, or around your life. You are the alchemist, whether you realize it or not. This series of alchemy podcasts each Sunday are my gift to you, where we explore the many facets and understandings of compassion and self-love and how that might look in this current world that's really now just a circus funhouse of every kind of dualistic display that can be conjured. So be mindful in your conjuring. Last podcast was called Secondary Gain. We talked about the many underlying subconscious decisions that affect our everyday lives that actually might produce a secondary gain, like a benefit. Yeah, a benefit to suffering is what we were talking about. There is actually a thing. It's, part of a hypnotherapy practice when you understand secondary gain. I believe it was also, I don't think it was Freud or Jung who talked about secondary gain. It's kind of a thing where it's created in an atmosphere of not living the truth of your being. When the suffering or the story of the suffering or the whole idea of the suffering then becomes you. And it can become you in such a way that instead of moving through it in grace and ease, it becomes a constant story of demise and strife and pure suffering. So I was told the story of a woman in a wheelchair. I told that story last podcast. I'll tell it again. It's a constant story of, demise, really. But it's a story of a woman in a wheelchair that during a hypnotherapy session, she was asked to stand up. And she gladly did. She stood up, but she hadn't stood up in years. While her subconscious mind was open, she stood up for the first time in most of her life. And when she was asked, what would she like to continue standing and using her body for the remainder of her life here on earth, she sat right back down. She chose a secondary gain of suffering. So the next question to her was, why are you choosing to not use your body? And her answer was, then I would have to go back to work. She chose this, a wheelchair, her way out. Subconsciously based in traumas, deep traumas that were never unearthed or relived or relieved out of the body, out of the aura. We don't have to relive them. We just need to relieve them. And then, another story of secondary gain just came to mind. I could have told that last time. I just remembered it, but it's a perfect example of secondary gain. I had a couple of roommates once from Germany where I lived in Canada for a while. And this couple, the male, he was a pilot from a really large international airline. But he was really interested in his spiritual pursuits beyond his job as a pilot. And he really wanted nothing more than to have his own meditation group, in the tropics, living on his land, where he was the so-called leader of this group. Well, this was his vision. When he spoke of it, I just certainly saw him wearing white as a guru. But this was his agreement with himself, and it ended up being an agreement between him and some off-planet race of extraterrestrials, aliens. I mean, this is true. Get this. This is very extreme. But he felt his powers of healing himself were so high that he asked this race of ETs that he was involved in, that helped him during his meditation time or helped him during his grid work for the earth. That's what he really liked doing, and it was really not very kind to the earth what he was doing. But he asked these ETs to give him a small brain tumor. Yeah, you heard me right. A small brain tumor. This pilot that flies thousands of people in the air is asking an ET group for a small brain tumor so he could, instantly be grounded from flying and put on disability. He could buy his land in the tropics, he would heal himself, and he could do what he wanted with his spirituality. Well, he did most of that. He got the tumor. He did get grounded from flying. He got a nice disability, but here he was, pretty messed up in Canada, from Germany, trying his best to heal himself. But actually, he was here vampiring everyone else's energy. He was like being used by a race of ETs to harvest his own energy after he made this agreement. It was like selling your soul. It wasn't healing him. There's deception on all levels. Not all ETs have malevolent or ugly agreements with life, but this one did. So he told me he was all healed of this, as my mouth hung open, in my mind, of course, as he told me of this, off-planet agreement. So after he told me about this agreement, a few days later, I came home really late at night. I'd been at a really long meditation session with a bunch of other people, and he was on the kitchen floor holding his head in pain right where the tumor had been, waiting on me to come home so I could assist him. So after a 3-hour session with him into the wee hours of the morning, his pain left. And also what left was his vampiric tie to other people. Because he had to choose life within himself, not death, not secondary gain of suffering. He had to stand up to himself, to be the grand decider, to say, what the heck, no. Be on the earth. Be in this body. He's not supposed to be acting out missions of other ET races. You're on an earth. Act accordingly, or peace will be a challenge for you here. Just like that pilot that you hope is never piloting your plane again. I'm glad he's grounded, believe me. Our Earth Mother is where we're going today. This is where we need to go after this kind of crazy ET agreement, to the Earth Mother, or to our Universal Mother, to our Source Mother, Mother Source, the Mother of all mothers, wishes you to align out of your suffering, out of all your kinds of agreements that you make, known and unknown. The Mother of all thoughts, the Mother of all actions, the Mother of all hearts, is the natural way, the Mother Source. The natural way. It's here, and our agreements, could be manifested portions of these dimensional fields that can bring us so much weirdness right now. So if we stick to the natural ways of our Mother Source, this will assist us all during this really unknown time. It's unknown, but it's known. It's unprecedented, but it's really we see what's happening. This idea and understanding of the mother archetype, the avatar, the source information that's based in the divinity of the Mother Source is actively working through our bodies, through our minds, right here on Earth. Are you witnessing it? The true Mother Source is both negative and positive. She's also the warrior. She's also the feminine divine. But we, as alchemists and observers of our lives, and those of us who just recently chose Earth as our home, we need to gather our natural instincts based in divine love and not hate and division. That's part of the matrix. That's not part of Mother Source. No matter what you see on the screens in front of you, this hate is not you. Remember this. The Mother would always wish you to remember this. A specialty of the Earth Mother is the embodiment of the natural and the divine. These are feminine aspects displayed in her beingness. The Earth Mother embodies also the warrior. The aim of both is kind of like power and success, but they each use their energy in a different way. One for doing, one for being. Assertive and passive. Our feminine aspects, whether you're male or female. Now, I'm talking energy. And I'm not talking about these crazy human descriptions that have an agenda behind them called transhumanism, that calls you a cis and a trans and a something. I'm not going to ever call anyone any of that. I don't care what you want to be called. I'll call you a human first. I'm going to accept you as that. The human energy is positive and negative. The human energy is male and female, whatever you want to call that. You're like a battery. You're like science. I could call you that. There's a lot of other human descriptions we could use, but you are energy, that is all. Energy is positive, energy is negative. It's analog. So here we've been plunked down into an electrical world. It was kind of created with a digital process for our bodies and minds that's totally away from our natural, creating arcs of beauty and peace and the delivery of divine. We're sometimes in electrical overload to our bodies and minds and our sensitive little divine systems. We're trying our best to balance out our male-female axis into some kind of wholeness on this earth, some kind of comfortable wholeness where we can accept earth as our home. We can be a human plugged into a natural grid of the earth, the natural ley lines of love and honor, bringing cosmic high wisdoms right into this grid, into this source grid of earth, the mother grid, not the matrix. That matrix grid that creates havoc on your body structure. We're accepting the mother source now. We're feminine Aquarian age, they say. It's true. But we're just aligning our male-female axis. That's it. We're neither male or female in a multidimensional space when you realize how many beings that you are that maybe don't even have a body. How many versions of you live with no bodies? That's quite the contemplation. We do have successive lives, concurrent lives in other dimensions. These can be called your guides. You can call your guide Fred. You can call your guide an archangel. It doesn't matter. It's a multidimensional consciousness that may not have a body. You are that. Feminine has had negative aspects known as being passive and powerless or being a victim. These are just underactive energies in the body, mind, and auric field. The masculine has also qualities of overbearing or competitive or aggressive. But again, these are underactive or overactive energies in the body, mind, and aura. All we're looking for is a balance of these things, not the shaming of these things, not the classification of the human idea of these things, or not being aggressive enough, or the shaming of the victim status that you're in. Maybe if you don't shame it, perhaps it might be easier to make another choice out of victim status once you find out that you are just a battery, an analog, beautiful battery with a heart space that has compassion. It's a system. The system was designed to keep you sometimes in a blinded victim status when you don't have awareness of what you are. There's a light bulb moment waiting for you, an opportunity to be more like the Earth Mother, more true to your reality, allowing the natural way as your alchemy, Allowing the integrating and balancing it'll attain some clarity and awareness and ascension, which are really all the same: clarity, awareness, and ascension. The emphasis now is on the auric field to ground itself into the compassionate space, the compassion and honoring of the divine feminine within you. Receiving the masculine, allowing the masculine side of you to come into a more peaceful place in your mind, in your thoughts, in your actions. Peace within your mind, peace within your body, peace with your past and all the expressions of your former suffering, as you now get to choose an expression of life instead. To allow the auric field into the earth structure is allowing it into the source mother, the mother source. The earth, this is like a source of no other. You hold the source within you, so does the earth, so does the universal mother, that born a spirit in a body known as you, with a cumulative past of all your many lives wrapped up in an aura filled with all the flavors and all the colors of the divine, all held within your cells, but when fully plugged into the earth, the mother source, allowing your battery source to relax and let your heart space to move into the earth structure, into your intentions, like I accept earth as my permanent residency. That thought, that intention, yes, even you, galactic traveler, you need to bring your mind back to your body and your body back to the earth mother and plug it in with your intention to be and do from the mother source, allowing the mother source within you into the natural ley lines of the earth to assist your process of integration and your process of transmutation of all the epigenetic traumas, the scripted lives, the quantum entanglements that keep you lifted off the earth, which is like a shock collar to your body. Remember, you're an analog being trying not to get shocked. We need the compassion. I call it the copper. When you come home to earth, to the mother and your energy, you're allowing the function to have a space and a non-time and a non-matrix, generating new thoughts. You become more divine in your body, and that translates into being more comfortable, more confident, and knowing of your place. Not your mission, your place. So here's a little sidebar. If you've been told that you are very important on an earth, whatever guide told you this or whatever human told you this, like really important, like above others, and you have a special mission to help earth or help others, well, you've been somewhat deceived on a little bit of a level. Because Mother Source Spirit is in being, arriving on an earth. It's here to deliberately liberate us. Liberate the divine within the molecule, to be the energy alchemist, to unearth the divine within the trauma of the cell, to transmute the being of light that came to an earth, to know itself, as a divine being, beyond the trauma, beyond the suffering, beyond any galactic mission. This is the spirit driving the idea of life, not life, creating an idea of a mission. There's a difference. Check where the information is coming from. If it's not coming from your heart space, and your heart space could not humbly say this, you are not that. Come back to your divine body and your divine mind. And you've got to, if you want, to allow the Mother Source, allow your heart space to merge with the Mother Source. This is, into the earth is the perfect grounding example to assist your body with your emotions, your ideas, by allowing Mother Earth to assist you. Yes, you can let a tree assist you. You can let the wind assist you. You can let the sky assist you. This is natural healing. Flowers can heal you by allowing your divine to be activated and your soul to be forgiven in the light of love of the mother, the source of all, right here in your body. You must be the positive-negative battery in full balance on an earth to not allow the matrix to affect this source placement of you, the plugging in process. You may be the one pulling yourself out of the earth each day with all your self-loathing or your negative talk back or your sarcasm that hides all your fears. Allow space to feel your divinity, not the words that describe it. You're not the words that describe your divinity. You are the divine. To be in balance as the mother source of life, to accept this as your intention of living, your intention of being, it'll certainly displace all those thoughts of guilt or shame or blame. All the victim status, depression that you so rightfully wield on your shoulder like you deserve this status because you went through X, Y, and Z. I'm the survivor of X, Y, and Z. Sure, you can be that, but you are so much more than the victim of anything. You're the creator of all things within you. This is not just philosophy. This is quantum science. This is cellular science. It's sacred science of the Source Mother. You are this source. You are this sacred. When you finally register this in your noggin, in your brainstem, in your pancreas, in your liver, in your big toe, you'll allow yourself to be on an earth, free and clear, and allow yourself to be the Master Alchemist, to allow yourself the ultimate compassion. As the mother source to yourself, this ripples into the ultimate compassion for others. This is not a high mission. This is not a high service to others. People will find you when you are the ripple of the Source Mother. Embody the Source Mother. Multidimensionality and universality are a view, and you can view your life from this place, from the Mother Source. I'm offering workshops this June 2019, in Bend, Oregon, and Reno, Nevada. These alchemy workshops and holographic healing training classes are really powerful expressions of compassion and understanding of the quantum physics, much deeper of everything we've gone into today. I'll teach you the science behind it here. How your heart space and your aura work together to ground the emotional body. How compassion is needed and wanted on an earth finally as a resurrection. So look into the space below for a link to Eventbrite, or you can just go to eventbrite.com and search Cindy Carter, and you'll find my workshops and the dates that I'll be having them. I'd love for you to join me at either of these locations and any of the other upcoming locations. So allowing the Mother Source to work her magic within your mind by acceptance and love and forgiveness of yourself. Allowing yourself to feel the Mother Earth here, right now, to assist you in all your endeavors as a natural motion of life, proliferating life. Many blessings.